Hey all, this is 012 Boku, and I'm coming at you with another review of... Oh, you know what? I grabbed the wrong thing. Let me go get it. Yes, here it is. The Legion of Superheroes. Yes, Legion of Superheroes. If you guys remember, we've been watching this show, and we're on... Let's see... Brain Drain, episode 9, Brain Drain. And with this one, with Brain Drain, pretty straightforward stuff. Apparently, Brainiac 5, who is no longer attached to the consciousness. I think it's the Cellular or Cleopan people. I know I'm probably butchering that because I can't remember what they're called. Since he's not connected to his own people, which formed out of Brainiac's body and mind and consciousness, since they're all interlinked, since Brainiac 5 left that consciousness, he's about to get the update by himself after he left his people, and he doesn't know what he will do, so he's building a containment unit. The others were worried about him, didn't understand what was going on. By the others, I mean Superman, Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, Timberwolf. And they're all just wondering. He tells them really quickly what's going on. He says this could damage his programming. He doesn't want to hurt them or doesn't want to have anything go bad. And it has to happen over the next 8 hours. So they stay with him over the next 8 hours as he goes crazy. He's acting all weird and childlike, almost oddly psychotic or just nutty, and the 8 hours is up and he thinks he could be good, and Superman sees how he's not still himself, and they're wondering what's going on, and then something happens with the containment unit. They all break in to get Brainiac out of there. The containment unit explodes, and Brainiac 5 says with one of his last clear thoughts that this shouldn't have happened this way. Then with Brainiac 5 still acting nuts, they tie him up for a bit and, keep him from going away, and he's just like acting nonsense, talking about black ants and all these other weird colors and things, and just like adding like subtle hints of what they need to do to fix him, but they don't know, they just think he's acting nuts. They need to find out what they can use to fix him and right him before he completely shuts down, because he needs to be complete this reboot without having anything happen to him. And they learn that he needs Zunium, I think it's Zunium, because it's on the planet Zune, and the planet Zune is where Timberwolf is from, and the only way they can get there is through transport matter teleportation units. And they go to use it, and as they use it, it's unstable. You're really not supposed to send a whole lot of people through. You can, but it can be dangerous, and they go through. Timberwolf's fine. Timberwolf even makes a joke saying, he lost his tail when, he did this last time, and he jokes with them saying, hey, I'm kidding. And then he goes on through. Superman goes on through. Superman feels funny, but they don't know why. And then, you have Brainiac 5 go through, and they lose his body and only his head. So Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl have to separate from Timberwolf, Clark Kent, Superman, and Brainiac 5 while they go retrieve Brainiac 5's body, who is on, let's see, I think I wrote it down. Oh yeah, Dunipar 3, which is this place where it has crystal towers, and the guide robot is trying to guide Brainiac 5's body to the crystal towers, and you have Brainiac 5's body trying to run after the thing and take its head. You have Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl trick the body to going back in the portal after the body's destroyed the towers, and the robot's like, oh, thank you for visiting, come again, you've ruined my place. But with Clark Kent, Timberwolf, almost forgot his name, Brainiac 5, they get to Zumium. The planet's highly toxic. The miners who have been mutated there start to attack them and try to get them doing their way. Clark Kent uses powers, but that's because we discovered for the first time in this episode that there's a red sun on Zumium. he loses his powers under a red sun, he can't focus, and you have Brainiac 5 using these jokes like, red ants, Superman should be better than to go to red ants, and then even explains all the properties of Krypton, which is rather hilarious. So, again, giving useful information that Timberwolf and Superman aren't understanding, but it's just hilariously done. It is, Timberwolf and Superman try to fight the mutants, yeah, Brainiac 5's head get bounced around by a ping pong ball, but they, deal with the mutant miners and go on down. There's mining machines that are mining the area for Zunium and whatever else they need. However, Timberwolf says the mining robots get spooked. They don't like anyone interrupting the work, so they will attack too. So they're having to deal with the mining robots, and you have Brainiac 5 who's dancing around with his head, actually gets into one of the mine robot suits, and he's like dancing around. He's like, I can dance again, and doing all these weird things. Timberwolf and Superman deal with the mining robots. Superman actually gets into a mine suit, like a mech suit, sort of like Aliens, as you know, and defeats all the mining robots, deals with them. Then, he tries to take Brainiac 5 down to the Zunium. Brainiac 5 is losing power, losing his memories. Parts of him start to come back to where, as he's trying to get to the Zunium, he's saying, the last sun, Krypton, my friend, and then, like, he's trying to get to it, and then all of a sudden, as Quark's trying to get Brainiac 5 down there, he basically just falls down and sort of collapses, gets Brainiac 5's heads towards the Zunium. Jericho probably mentioned this when he does his review. He believed that possibly could have been gold kryptonite, because all of a sudden Quark got really weak around the gold kryptonite too, and we don't know why, but or if there was gold kryptonite, but he got weak around the Zunium and almost collapsed. But Brainiac 5 absorbs it. He's fine. He doesn't understand why he's ahead, and then they go back through the portal, meet up with Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl. They have the Brainiac body all tied up, and it's struggling, and they get back to the Watchtower, and Brainiac 5 is very grateful for Quark helping him out, and he says, is there any way I can repay you? And he's like, well, yeah, Brainy, just answer me one question. And he's like, sure, what do you need? Why did I get weak on Zunium? What happened? Oh, your powers don't work under the red sun. Don't you think I should have known that? You should have told me. He's like, no, Superman. If you know too much about your own legacy, we could damage the future. Those things you have to learn on your own and discover in your own time. And, Clark Kent just gives this look of, just curiousness, and he's like, I wonder what else you haven't told me. And that's how the episode ends. So just a fun episode with character development, discovery, and just fun zaniness. Pretty straightforward, nothing too huge, and it was just really well done. And again, not a huge cast of characters. Everybody did good, so I'll probably give a nod to everybody. Yuri Lowenthal, Superman, Clark Kent, great performance from him as always. Andy Milder, good jabs, good jokes as Lightning Lad. Adam Wiley, Brainiac 5, very nuts, very zany. Probably one of the best performances in this episode, and just delivered a good performance. Carrie Walgren, Saturn Girl, another good performance from her. Sean Harrison, Timberwolf, really did really good in this episode with taking charge, and Sean Harrison really brought that out, taking charge and trying to be a leader for once and doing what he could, and played that really well. So nod to Sean Harrison there. Billy West, the dispatcher, the guy who works the transporters, and then he was also the voice of the Guidebot. Great fun performance and funny stuff from him all around. The freak out, or just the dispatcher who doesn't care. It's just great stuff from Billy West there. But overall, the episode was enjoyable. I liked it. Again, have you guys seen the show? Do you know Legion of Superheroes? What do you think? Just leave a comment down below, and we'll get this discussion going. Until then, this is 012 Boku, and I'll see you guys again later, alright? See ya.